I got some very sad news for you Biggie Boy fans. For you Rozenstruik fans, I'm one myself. He has officially not been re-signed by the UFC following his loss, his horrible fight, his dog shit fight to Pavlovich. And I see this as completely unfair. I see this as completely unfair, but I'm fucking poor. What am I gonna do about it? But I'm just gonna be his lawyer, make a little defense for him. This probably will achieve nothing, and it will most likely achieve nothing. But I stand up for what's right only when I care about it, and I just so happen to care about it. As you can see, fighter removed by UFC roster watch. The guy, if you want all your intel and shit, I know I'm dick sucking, but if you want all your intel and shit, who's on the roster, who's not, who got cut, who didn't get re-signed, follow UFC roster watch on Twitter. I'm dick sucking, but like if I'm using this content, I might as well give him a promo. Jairzinho Rozenstruik has not been re-signed following his loss to Pavlovich, and I'm explaining, like I said, why this is very unfair, why it's very unjust, and why it's just a shitty thing to do. Not only is Jairzinho on his way to being one of the best gatekeepers in UFC history, literally he is. What's your reason for not resigning him? Surely you have to have a reason. I mean, you put him in main events all the fucking time. You love shoving him down our throats on main events and promoting him. So is he boring? You love showing the Alistair Overeem highlight. So is he boring? I mean, he gets knockouts. He outstrikes people. You love promoting that. You love promoting that. You love putting him on an Apex Fight Night main event. Shamil Gaziev, you love putting that down our throat. So is he not entertaining? Are you saying that the guy you put in like 3 main events last year and his whole career is not entertaining? A guy who almost fought for the title after getting knockouts on Alistair Overeem? You showed that clip like 8 times. Is he not entertaining? So my argument to that is, right, if he's not entertaining, why do you go out of your way to promote him, put him in fight night main events when it could be used for other prospects? Why do you go out of your way to promote him if he's not entertaining? So it can't be that. It can't be he's not entertaining, especially after just one bad fight. Is it because he hasn't beaten the level of competition? This was a guy who, if he beat Ngannou, he would have fought for a belt. Right? This is a guy who's had his own run. And let me just go over it. He has 6 career losses. 6 career losses in UFC history. Let me just go over who they all are. Pavlovich, as of recent, on the card, on the Saudi Arabia card, where Israel Adesanya got knocked out. I'm an Izzy hater, but it's sad. It really is sad. But he fought Pavlovich. Dog shit fight. Let me just remind you, right? It takes 2 to tango. It takes 2 to fight. Jairzinho is a counter striker. Styles make matchups, right? Styles make matchups. Jairzinho is a counter striker. When his opponent is only doing this, not throwing a punch for 3 minutes straight, what is he going to do? What is he going to do? If his opponent's not doing anything, his opponent should also receive the same amount of punishment as Jairzinho. I understand he won, but it was boring nonetheless. It was a horrible fight, but my argument to that is, if you're cutting people because of boring fights, not re-signing them because of boring fights, you just get rid of the women's division completely, right? Just get rid of that, because that's all it is. That heavyweight fight was better than 50, maybe 70% of the women's division. Get rid of that. Call it a day. Call it a day. Get rid of that. Since we are finding people boring now, not re-signing them because they're boring. I understand Muhammad Makayev. You cut him because he was boring. Difference is, Jairzinho gets knockouts. Jairzinho outstrikes people. He doesn't just lay on them like Makayev. He's not a dirty fighter like Makayev. He's not a horrible person who's created like I'm just saying, Dana White, this is a crazy start to Black History Month, right? That's all I'm saying. For you, not for me. I'm in defense of the Melatonin Brothers. This is a crazy start to Black History Month for you. You cut a guy on the first day of Black History Month, and you watch Israel Adesanya get knocked out. I mean, not his fault. Not his fault at all. It's just crazy. It's just, you'll keep a guy like Bryce Mitchell. Clearly doesn't have top talent at featherweight. Clearly, he's gonna stay where he is. He's not gonna randomly beat fucking Josh Emmett. Again. Damn, I shouldn't have said Josh Emmett. But after the takes Bryce Mitchell just made, you came to his defense faster than you came to Jairzinho Rozenstruik's. I'm just saying, hey, crazy look, bruh. It could not be me, but you came to his defense. But you want to cut a guy who got robbed in Jamal Pogues, and you want to cut Jairzinho Rozenstruik. But, you know, you don't want to punish the guy who's a steroid cheat, who robbed Jamal Pogues. He robbed him. And you're like, you know what? Boring fight. Again, it takes two to tango, man. It takes two to fight. Styles make matchups. You put on a boring fight that everybody thinks is going to be boring. Don't be surprised when it's boring. Like, I feel like I got a point to that. But like I said, Pavlovich, yeah, he was on 2-fight losing streak before beating Rozenstruik. To Gon, or not Gon, I'm fucking retarded. To Aspinall, to Volkov. Aspinall, the interim champion, is about to fight John Jones and whoop his ass. Volkov, a guy who beat Cyril Gane and is about to fight Tom Aspinall. You know, Gane. Let's go to Gane, right? I'm just going to go through all these. Let's go to Gane. He just, on paper, beat Volkov. And he might be next for a belt. I don't think he is. But he's a guy who's fought in Ngannou. We don't have to talk about John Jones. We don't have to talk about that fight. But he really brought Ngannou to a really close fight. These are good guys. All these guys are in top 10. All these guys might be top 6. Curtis Blaydes just fought Tom Aspinall. Curtis Blaydes just fought for their interim title against Tom Aspinall. Volkov was supposed to be next in line for that interim title. Jailton Almeida might also be next in line for that interim title. Gane. I don't know who the fuck Gane is, but yeah, I mean, he just beat Volkov apparently, so. Worst robbery in history? Yeah. But what I'm saying is, he's a good gatekeeper. And the reason let me go into why gatekeepers are important, right? Let's say you have a prospect. Let's say you have a Sean O'Malley type prospect. You challenge him against the gatekeeper. Because the gatekeeper, while he might not be the hardest matchup, while he might not be the hardest fucking guy, he's a name. He's a guy who people know. Like Neil Magny, he's a guy who people know. So if you beat him, you say, oh, he beat Neil Magny. He's good. Only good people beat this guy, right? Even though he's not the best, even though that Neil Magny guy will never reach the top of the sport, you can say he beat him and you can say it's a good win and a good name. So let me just get that out of the way. That's why gatekeepers are important, right? This guy has only lost to the top of the top at heavyweight. By the way, let me also say this. Heavyweight is full of a bunch of fat fucks. It's the worst division skill-wise I've ever seen. It's very shallow. We don't have many heavyweights at all in the rankings. We don't have many heavyweights in general who are actually good fighters. And we just cut one of them. We just cut one of them, and we cut another guy. We just let him go. I don't understand how Dana White can complain saying, oh, heavyweight's very shallow. We don't have many heavyweights. We need to find more heavyweights. Let's give Kuniev, that fucking Russian inbred motherfucker, let's give him Curtis Blaydes on his debut. Let's do that, right? It's like, but you cut Jairzinho Rozenstruik after losing a number 4, after he was on a 2-fight win streak against Tai Tuivasa and Shamil Gaziev. And Shamil Gaziev is knocking people out left and right. It's fucking disgraceful. It's like the most counterproductive. By the way, I know I said 6 losses. He has 6 career losses. I only put 5 of them up there because the next guy, the other guy he lost to, is Francis fucking Ngannou, who after this, he became champion. He knocked out Stipe Miocic, the greatest of all time, did it faster than John Jones. He did it way faster against a better Stipe than John Jones did. He beat Gane, out-wrestled Gane. But, you know, apparently John Jones, his performance is just so impressive that he out-wrestled Gane. Francis Ngannou did it on horrible knees. And then he went to boxing, embarrassed Tyson Fury. We don't need to talk about what happened after. We don't need to talk about what happened after. But he embarrassed Tyson Fury, and now he's champion at PFL after destroying Renan Ferreira. Like, you can't say, oh, he has horrible losses. You can't say he's trash. You can't say he's not really entertaining because he has multiple knockouts. You know, like I said, they love shoving him down our throats on Apex main events. They love that shit. I hate it, but they love that shit. You remember Gaziev, one of the worst cards I've ever seen in my life? But let's just go into his record real quick, right? He beat Shamil Gaziev. He beat Tai Tuivasa. He TKO'd Shamil Gaziev, destroyed him. Shamil Gaziev barely threw a punch. He landed 22 punches the whole fight in 4 rounds. Tai Tuivasa landed 37 punches in 3 rounds. One of the worst split decisions I've ever seen in my fucking life. And then he goes against Pavlovich, where Pavlovich only threw 25 punches. And he threw 17. Horrible fight, but like I said, it takes 2 to tango, right? You know, this guy's so boring, he knocked out Chris Dawkins in 23 seconds, right? But, you know, he loses to Alexander Volkov, like we said, we know where he is. He loses to Curtis Blades, we know where he is. It's like, I'm not gonna lie, that Curtis Blades fight sucked too. I'm not gonna lie, that shit was ass. But you understand what I'm trying to get at here. You understand what I'm trying to get at. It takes 2 to tango. It takes 2 to do everything. Let's just compare him to a bunch of other people, right? We don't have a problem. We don't have a problem with Neil Magny being in the rankings and being a gatekeeper. And we're never going to cut Neil Magny. I'm not saying we should. But you have a problem with Jairzinho Rozenstruik being in the rankings. And just being in the UFC in general. I've never seen a Neil Magny performance where I'm like, I need to see this guy fight again. He's amazing. I need to see him fight again. I've never seen that in my fucking life. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. So if he's boring, you got Neil Magny right fucking there. If it's, oh, he's not selling enough pay-per-views, he's not doing this, he's not having exciting fight nights, you got Neil Magny right there. If it's, oh, you know, his fights just aren't fun, you got Neil fucking Magny right there. It's like it's just counterproductive in literally every fucking way possible. Like, let me look at his ones. Philip Rowe, that's not even a good fight. That's barely a good fight. Neil Magny versus Mike Malott. Mike Malott is soy. He laid on Neil Magny in top position for 13 minutes and lost as soon as Neil Magny got positioned one time. Horrible fight. It was just dog shit. He gets knocked out by Carlos Prates after holding Carlos Prates against the cage for like 3 minutes. Michael Morales destroyed him because, I mean, it's Michael Morales. He's the most underrated fucking welterweight there is. Ian Gary just destroys him. The only reason that fight was entertaining was because he destroyed him. It wasn't even entertaining. It was just very sad to watch. Philip Rowe, fight sucked. Gilbert Burns got him in an arm triangle. That was a 4-minute fight with 5 strikes landed. 9 strikes in total from both of them. Neil Magny versus Shavkat. Shavkat's guillotined him. 19 strikes. He threw 11 strikes. He threw 11 strikes in 10 minutes. So you can't say, oh, he's boring. You can't say Jairzinho's this, Jairzinho's that without looking at other people. Like, it's crazy. And let me just get one more. Let me get one more guy here. There's a guy by the name of Tai Tuivasa. Fan favorite. I love Tai Tuivasa. I hope he wins. This motherfucker, you're going to cut Jairzinho before you cut this guy? He's on a 5-fight losing streak. And his last 2 performances aren't even good. I mean, last 2 fights, not performances. Obviously, his performances are just actual dog shit. But his last 2 fights weren't even good. Neither was the Volkov fight. Volkov destroyed him. Marcin Tybura destroyed him. Jairzinho Rozenstruik destroyed him. I'm not saying cut Tai Tui. I'm saying why would he have Tai Tui's on a 5-fight losing streak instead of having Jairzinho as a gatekeeper who people can make their names off because he's a good fighter, because he has good wins, because he's a valuable win. You made Tai Tuivasa a main event on a 4-fight losing streak. You made Tai Tuivasa a featured fight on a 5-fight losing streak. I mean, bro, like, damn, people are racing outside my house. That's crazy. But you understand what I'm getting at here. You understand what I'm getting at. I'm just saying Dana White. I'm not gonna knock you for this, but this is crazy. For Black History Month, this is fucking crazy. I would never do this. I'm just a good person. If you're melatonin in the UFC, you gotta watch out, man. Dana White's coming for you next. He don't care. He's been trying to eradicate Black History Month forever at this point, bro. He don't care. It's just, out of all the people you could have chosen, you're not even paying it. You're barely paying Jairzinho. You're telling me Jairzinho makes more money than Taito Ivasa. You're telling me than Neil Magny, maybe Neil Magny. You're telling me he makes more money than them. It's a money problem. You're about to re-sign Muhammad Makayev, the guy who couldn't beat Manel Kape on a broken toe. Manel Kape had a broken toe, could not walk properly for 14 minutes. Manel Kape didn't do anything. Or not Manel. They both didn't do anything. Fuck it, they both didn't do anything. The biggest shot Makayev landed was before the fight when he sucker punched Manel Kape. And we're about to renegotiate with him. It's crazy. Justice for Biggie Boy. Justice for him. He got cut wrongly. I hope he makes a lot more money in the PFL. Honestly, he could easily become champion at heavy. Oh shit, Ngannou's there. Never mind. Yeah, Biggie Boy, you gotta come to the UFC, man. You're cooked. You're cooked in PFL. I would not do that if I were you. They're gonna put you against Ngannou immediately. At least get a bag before you do that. At least get a bag. But you understand what I'm saying. It's like, these aren't bad losses. There's nothing to be ashamed about here. This motherfucker, like... Ngannou just destroyed Tyson Fury. Okay, I can't say just, like 2 to 3 years ago. And these are his only losses. It makes me sad as a guy who I love heavyweight. I love heavyweight. I love the feeling these people can get knocked out. How do you think I feel when Justin Tafa is the featured fight on a main card? On a pay-per-view main card. How do you think I feel? You don't think I'd rather see Jairzinho against fucking Marcin Tybura? I gotta watch Justin Tafa? You're promoting Justin Tafa over these guys. And there's some good people who are coming up in the division. Mick Parkin is an amazing prospect coming up in heavyweight. Exciting finisher. Good prospect. Trains with Tom Aspinall. And we're cutting Jairzinho Rozenstruik. Even though Taito Ivasa is a fat ass who doesn't care about fighting on a 5-fight losing streak. Who gets really taken down immediately and doesn't know what to do. Gets outstruck because he's not a good striker either. And you're telling me Jairzinho's the problem. We can't afford to pay Jairzinho back. I'm sorry, guys. We just can't afford to pay Jairzinho back, even though he's the only guy outstriking people and looks great doing it. I'm just saying, you didn't have to re-sign him back for a lot of money. You could have said, hey, your last 2 fights were boring. Your last 3 fights were boring, even though they're not. Even though they're fucking not. You could have said, hey, your last 3 fights were boring. I'm going to sign you for less, but we'll give you 3 fights or something like that. Just to get, oh my god, my hairline's cooked. Just to get you, like, off the, just to get the bums out of here. Just be a gatekeeper. Get the bums out of here. I just want to say this again, because this just came to my mind. If you say cut him because he's boring, y'all motherfuckers, I don't know if you remember this fight. Carla Esparza versus Rose Namajunas. They got a standing ovation after that. People were clapping when when Carla won that fight. People were clapping. People gave them a standing ovation. Like, people were happy with that fight. The whole that's an average woman's fight. That's an average woman's fight. That's 90% of the fight. Okay, never mind, actually. That fight was complete dog shit. That's 50% of the women's MMA. Every single fight. But Jairzinho's the problem, right? Jairzinho's the problem at heavyweight. And I'm not saying this to bring women down. Obviously, they're not going to have crazy knockouts back-to-back. It's just not how it works. Unless you're an actual man. Like Amanda Nunes. It's just like, you're going to tell me he was the problem? Justice for him. I'm not going to do shit about it. This is my part. I made the video. That's all I care about. I can't pay you. I can't give you a fight contract. You probably don't even know what the fuck I'm saying. But it's like, in Black History Month, man. I'm sorry, I wouldn't be surprised if Kamaru Usman got cut tomorrow. I really wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if fucking Israel Adesanya is gone from the sport because he's too boring, because he gets knocked out too much. We let Tony Ferguson go on a 7-fight losing streak of getting knocked unconscious and getting submitted. And even then, just having boring fights in general. We let Tony Ferguson do that while putting him on the main card. But but Jairzinho's the problem, right? I shot a crazy burp. But it's like, you know what I'm trying to say here. These are his only losses. But that's the video. That's my whole defense against it. Like, subscribe if you enjoy the content. And I'm going to do predictions at least by Thursday. So, yeah. Follow the Instagram, too. Because I'm going to make an Instagram just do predictions on there, too. Short predictions, not the full card, just main card. You'll see. You'll see. That's what matters. Justice for Biggie Boy. I mean, like, come on, man. Come on. It's not fair. It really isn't fair. But like I said, I don't care unless it benefits me or it's someone I like, and Biggie Boy just happens to be someone I like.